Welcome back to the ThreadVerse. They say blood is thicker than water, but what happens when money gets involved? Today, we have a story that has torn a family apart. It's a story about a wedding, a blended family, and a check worth thousands of dollars that comes with one specific condition. We have a father who is standing his ground, a son who feels controlled, and a stepbrother caught in the crossfire. Who is right? And who is the villain in this family drama? Before we dive into this mess, if you enjoy listening to real-life drama, complex relationships, and the dark side of family dynamics, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We explore the most controversial threads on the internet every single week. Now, let's get into the story. This is titled, "Am I the asshole for refusing to pay for my son's wedding because he excluded his stepbrother?" I never thought I'd be writing this. I'm a 52-year-old man, and I like to think I've done a decent job at navigating the complicated waters of a blended family. But right now, I feel like the ship is sinking, and I'm the one drilling the hole in the bottom. Let me give you the background. I have two sons. There's Alex, who is 28. He is my biological son from my first marriage. Then there is Jake, who is 26. Jake is my stepson from my current wife's previous relationship. I married my wife when the boys were just teenagers. Alex was 14, and Jake was 12. Those are tough ages to blend a family. Hormones are flying, identities are forming, and suddenly, you're forced to live with strangers. We tried our best. My wife and I read the books, we went to counseling, we did the family game nights. But the truth is, Alex and Jake never really bonded. They weren't enemies, exactly. There were no fistfights or screaming matches. But there was a coldness. A wall. Mostly, this came from Alex. He struggled with the divorce the most, and I think, deep down, he felt like I was replacing him and his mother. Over the years, I have bent over backward to prove that wasn't true. I've tried to treat them exactly equally. I paid for Alex's college tuition in full. I did the same for Jake. I helped Alex buy his first car, a sturdy Toyota Camry. I did the same for Jake. I supported Alex's art projects, and I supported Jake's tech startups. In my heart, I see Jake as my own son. And my wife? She has been a saint. She has treated Alex with nothing but love and patience, even when he was a moody teenager giving her the silent treatment. We survived the teenage years. We thought we were in the clear. We thought we had made it to the other side as a somewhat functional, blended family. We were wrong. Fast forward to now. Alex is 28, successful, and deeply in love. He met a wonderful woman, let's call her Sarah. When Alex announced his engagement, we were over the moon. Sarah is great. She's kind, she's smart, and she seemed to fit right in. A few months ago, Alex came to me. We were sitting on the back porch, having a beer, just father and son. He looked nervous. He told me they were planning a big wedding. A dream wedding. But big dreams cost big money. He asked, "Dad, is there any way you could contribute financially?" I didn't even hesitate. I smiled and said, "Of course." I had been saving for this. I happily agreed to set aside a significant amount of money. I won't say the exact number, but it was enough to cover the venue, the catering, and the open bar. Basically, I was covering the bulk of the wedding costs. I wanted him to be happy. I wanted to start his marriage off on the right foot, debt-free. For the first few months, everything was great. We had regular planning meetings. I felt involved. I felt respected. My wife and I would look at color swatches and venue photos with Alex and Sarah. It felt like a family. But then came last week. I was over at Alex's apartment to drop off a deposit check for the florist. The spreadsheet for the wedding was open on his laptop on the kitchen counter. I wasn't snooping, it was right there. I glanced at the guest list tab. I was just curious to see how many people they had settled on. I scrolled down. I saw my name. My wife's name. My cousins. My friends. But I kept scrolling, looking for one specific name. Jake. I scrolled up. I scrolled down. I used the search function. Nothing. Jake's name was missing. At first, I thought it was a mistake. A typo. Maybe they put him under the groomsmen list. Maybe he was on a separate sheet. Alex walked into the room with 2 coffees. "Here you go, Dad," he said, cheerful. I pointed at the screen. "Hey, Alex. I think you missed someone. I don't see Jake on here." The air in the room changed instantly. The cheerfulness evaporated. Alex took a sip of his coffee, didn't make eye contact, and shrugged. "He's not missing, Dad," Alex said calmly. "I just don't want him there." I froze. "Excuse me?" "It's my wedding," Alex said, his voice tightening. "I don't want him there." "Why?" I asked. I was genuinely shocked. "Did something happen? Did you two have a fight?" "No fight," Alex said. "We just aren't close. We never were. I don't want to fake it on my big day. I want people there who actually know me, who I actually like." Inviting Jake feels forced. I stared at him. "Forced? Alex, he is your brother." "Stepbrother, yes, but he has been in your life for 14 years. He has never been anything but respectful to you." "He's your wife's son," Alex corrected me. "He's not my brother." That stung. "Alex, listen to me. Jake is part of this family. Not inviting him would create a massive amount of unnecessary drama. It would crush your stepmother. It would humiliate Jake. You are asking for a family war." Alex crossed his arms. "I'd rather have a smaller, intimate event without any awkwardness. If Jake is there, I'll feel awkward. It's my day. You can either accept it, or not." He was drawing a line in the sand. And I realized, in that moment, I had to draw one too. I took a deep breath. I looked at the check sitting on the counter, the check for the flowers. "Alex," I said. "I love you. You know I do. But I am not comfortable funding an event that deliberately excludes one of my sons without a valid reason. If Jake had been cruel to you, if he had stolen from you, I would understand. But he hasn't. You are excluding him out of spite." Alex's face turned red. "Spite? No, Dad. It's preference. It's cruelty," I said. "And I won't pay for it. So here is the deal. If Jake is excluded, I am pulling my financial contribution. All of it." The explosion was immediate. "You can't do that," Alex shouted. "We've already booked the venue. We've hired the caterer. We did that based on your promise." "And I made that promise assuming this was a family event," I countered. "You are breaking the family apart. Why should the family bankroll it?" He got defensive. He got nasty. He told me it wasn't fair for me to hold money over his head as a form of control. He accused me of always favoring Jake. "You always pick him," Alex yelled. "Even now. It's my wedding, and you're choosing him over me." "I am choosing decency, Alex," I yelled back. "I have put you first my whole life. I paid for your college. I bought your car. Don't you dare stand there and tell me I don't support you. But I will not support you hurting your brother. I walked out. I left the check on the counter, but I told him not to cash it until he reconsidered. The fallout has been nuclear. I went home and told my wife. She is devastated. She didn't scream, she just cried. She feels like this is Alex's way of finally punishing us for getting married all those years ago. She feels like she failed as a stepmother. And Jake? Jake is the heartbreaking part. He found out, I don't know how, maybe he sensed the tension, and he is trying to play the peacemaker. He told me last night, "It's okay, Dad." Really? I don't mind. I don't want to cause trouble. Just let Alex have his day. I'll send a gift. He's acting like it doesn't bother him, but I know it does. I can see it in his eyes. He's being the bigger person, which frankly, makes Alex look even worse. Then came the phone call from Sarah, Alex's fiancée. She called me yesterday, sounding near tears. She tried to mediate. "Please," she said. "Weddings are stressful. Alex is just overwhelmed. He doesn't mean it. Please don't pull the funding. We will lose thousands in deposits." "Then tell him to invite his brother," I said. It's complicated," she said. "Alex feels like if he invites Jake now, it's only because you forced him to. It won't be genuine." "I don't care if it's genuine," I told her. "I care that he does the right thing. This isn't a family reunion, Sarah, I get that. But it is a declaration of who we are. And I am not a father who pays for one son to public ally shun the other. Now, Alex is barely speaking to me. My extended family is split. My sister thinks I'm justified. She says Alex is being a bridezilla. But my brother thinks I'm an asshole. He says a gift is a gift, and I shouldn't attach strings to it. He says I'm overstepping and proving Alex's point about control. I'm torn. I don't want to ruin my relationship with Alex. I don't want him to look back on his wedding day with anger toward me. But I also feel like this is a slap in the face to Jake, to my wife, and to the unity we tried so hard to build. So, I have to ask. Am I the asshole? I posted this story online, desperate for an unbiased opinion. I thought maybe I was being too harsh. Maybe I was the villain. But the internet, well, the internet had a lot to say. The response was overwhelming. Here are some of the top comments that really made me think. One user, let's call him FamilyMan99, voted not the asshole. He wrote, "NTA. It is your money. You can do whatever you want with it. Alex is old enough to understand that actions have consequences. He has the right to invite who he wants, absolutely. But he does not have the right to your wallet. If he wants a wedding that excludes the family, he can pay for it himself." That resonated with me. It's exactly how I feel. But then there was a different perspective. A user named Wedding Blues voted everyone sucks here. They said, "You are using money to control your son. That's toxic. But your son is being a jerk to his stepbrother. That's also toxic. You are validating his feeling that you care more about Jake's feelings than Alex's big day. You should have given the money as a gift with no strings attached. Once you give a gift, you don't get to dictate how it's used." That one stung. Was I controlling him? Was I proving his point? Another comment, which got thousands of upvotes, came from Stepchild Support. They wrote, "NTA. Imagine the photos. Imagine the future. 10 years from now, looking at wedding albums where Jake is missing. Alex is being petty. He is 28, not 18. Excluding a family member who has done nothing wrong is a declaration of war. You are right to defund the war. And finally, one comment that really hit home regarding Sarah, the fiancé. User Red Flag Hunter wrote, "The fiancé is the problem too. She should be telling Alex that he's being unreasonable. Instead, she's calling you begging for money. They want the lavish lifestyle without the family values. Don't give in, Dad." After reading thousands of comments and spending 3 sleepless nights staring at the ceiling, I made a decision. I called a family meeting. Not a phone call. A sit-down. I invited Alex and Sarah over. I didn't tell them Jake would be there, but he was. My wife was there too. When Alex walked in and saw Jake, he almost turned around and left. But Sarah grabbed his arm. They sat down. The tension was so thick you could choke on it. I looked at Alex. "We need to clear the air," I said. "This isn't about the wedding anymore. This is about us." I asked Alex, point blank, why? Why do you dislike Jake so much that you'd risk your inheritance, your wedding funding, and your relationship with me just to keep him away? Alex was silent for a long time. Then, finally, the truth came out. It wasn't about the divorce. It wasn't about me replacing his mom. "It's because he's perfect, Dad," Alex whispered. "He's always the nice guy. The smart guy. The guy who never causes trouble. And I'm just, the difficult one. I didn't want him at the wedding because I didn't want people comparing us. I didn't want to look at him and feel like less." The room went silent. Jake looked shocked. He had no idea Alex felt intimidated by him. "Alex," Jake said softly. "I'm a mess. I have anxiety. I'm broke half the time. I look up to you." It was a breakthrough. It wasn't a magical fix, they didn't hug and become best friends instantly. But the wall cracked. "So, what about the wedding?" I told Alex the offer still stood. If he wanted the big check, it was a family event, and Jake was family. If he wanted to exclude Jake, that was his right, but the check was off the table. Alex looked at Sarah. Sarah looked at the budget. In the end, Alex made a choice. He invited Jake. But not for the money. Or at least, he says it's not for the money. He invited Jake because, for the first time in 14 years, they actually had a real conversation. The wedding is next month. The check has been cashed. Jake is going. It might be awkward. It might be tense. But we will be there. Together. And honestly, that's the best wedding gift I could ever ask for. Thank you for listening to this story on ThreadVerse. What would you have done if you were in my shoes? Would you have pulled the money? Or would you have let your son have his way? Let me know in the comments below. See you in the next video.